The Cardinals are not only mishandling the Willson Contreras situation, they're mishandling the entire 2023 season. Let's start with the Willson Contreras situation, where the team came out and said that Contreras won't be the team's catcher for the foreseeable future. You just signed this guy to a 5-year deal for $87.5 million to be the catcher for this team. The catcher that replaces future Hall of Famer, in my opinion, Yadier Molina, as the future for this organization. What do you mean he's not going to catch for the foreseeable future? Now, they said it was for comfortability reasons for the starting rotation, who has not been very good so far this year. But that doesn't make any sense to me. Just when it seemed the Cardinals front office made one of the most boneheaded moves you can make and the most boneheaded move of the season so far, they go and say, hold my beer, we got one more for you in this situation. So this move is coming from the front office, clearly, and I do not understand it. They said when it first came out, it was said he's going to mostly DH, maybe play a little bit of first base and a little bit of corner outfield. And then the day after this was said, they came out again. The president of baseball ops for the Cardinals comes out and says, now I know it came out yesterday, but after talking with him, it's basically going to be more in the DH role right now. And there's light at the end of the tunnel to get him back behind the plate. What does that even mean? What tunnel? You created this tunnel. There's no need for a light at the end of the tunnel. You said he's not going to catch anymore for the foreseeable future. And it just feels like this is an excuse for bad pitching. Well, I have news for you, Cardinals front office. Everybody knew that the pitching for the Cardinals this year was going to be bad. You just hope the offense could be elite enough to make up for it. But this isn't some like groundbreaking news that a good rotation has turned out to be bad this year. No, not at all. This is something that everybody knew would be the Cardinals' problem this year. And guess what? Just over a month into the year, it is a problem for the team. So it feels like we're using Willson Contreras as an excuse for why they're not good. Let's talk about 2016. World Series champions Chicago Cubs. Their starting pitching that year had the 4th best team ERA in the game of baseball. Guess who was a young rookie catcher that played almost half the games for that team that season? You guessed it, Willson Contreras. He was great for them. He was a big part of their success in that World Series. And it now all of a sudden just feels like this Cardinals team in their first month with him, the first 30 games, is just saying, this guy isn't a catcher. Well, you just paid him $90 million to be your catcher. Maybe, just maybe, you should have put a better pitching rotation out there on the field and not just blame him for this. I also mentioned the other boneheaded move that they made to start the year that was the biggest bizarre move that I've seen. It was sending down Jordan Walker to start the season. Jordan Walker had a historically good start to his career. Had a 12-game hit streak. Players in the last 110 years to start their MLB career with a 10 or more game hitting streak before turning 21 years old. Jordan Walker. That's it. That's the list. And he was playing pretty well. He started struggling towards the end, but then they just stopped playing him and optioned him down to AAA because apparently he was struggling. They said he needed to work on his swing. Well, let him work on it in the big leagues. Work on it with him. I will forever remember, my brother gives a ton of credit to Jim Leland in his career for saying, he let me struggle in the big leagues as a young pitcher. He wouldn't take me out in the 5th or 6th inning when I got in a little bit of trouble. He let me pitch through it. And sometimes that meant getting lit up and getting hit pretty hard in those innings as well. But he let me work through it, and he gives him a lot of credit for how that helped his career turn out. But what does this show Jordan Walker? That they might not believe in him, or at any sign of struggle, you could just possibly get sent down. And this is a Cardinals team that wasn't playing good at the time and still isn't playing good. Entering the week, they are 11-24 in dead last place in the NL Central and reached the 10 games under 500 mark for the first time since 2007. That sounds crazy because it is. This is an organization that has become accustomed to winning. Maybe not winning World Series every year, or maybe not being in the playoffs every single year, but being there, being good, being in contention year in and year out. And now they're not. And now it's really bad. And they're even coming off of an 8-game losing streak that ended Sunday. 8-game losing streak for this offense that was supposed to be absolutely elite this season. 8-game losing streak finally came to an end Sunday thanks to Paul Goldschmidt's 3 home runs in the game. Reigning NL MVP winner, Paul Goldschmidt. But don't worry, Cardinals fans. He might be out of the lineup soon because Willson Contreras needs to play some first base instead of be catcher. It just doesn't make sense.